Hello, everyone. Welcome to Teamwork Design, where we strive to design life from conversation to communication. I am your host, Terry Mera. The way we communicate is through symbols. Languages are symbols that we all agreed on and were taught to learn to communicate with one another and share, expand, explore, and express. If I write or say tree in different languages, you may only understand if you have learned that language. But it's a tree if I say it or write it in English. You only know what you know. Anything beyond that is an assumption and illusion. You may assume motherhood, but if you are not a mother, anything you may think is an assumption and illusion, since every motherhood differs from one's perspective. With that said, I've learned that people behave and communicate only based on what they know. Yet, oftentimes, what we know is not the whole truth, but relative truth. Once you establish this awareness, you start taking things less personally regarding what others say and do. I discussed it in the previous podcast. So, what if you care? Instead of denying that you care with, I don't care. Since you care enough to talk about it, I suggest to embrace it. Well, let me ask you, why do you care in the first place? Aha. Please examine your answers honestly. It doesn't matter what answer you may give. Most likely, it is because you believe what you know is true. But is it though? In the past, people believed the earth was flat. Even on my podcast, what I share and talk about is my relative truth, not the whole truth. My intention is not necessarily to persuade you to believe what I believe, but to have you give it a thought, examine it, and to explore. One's unwavering belief creates most trauma and conflicts. The violence is rising because there are people out there who want to force their beliefs upon others with violence, intimidation, and bullying. I can choose to hate, but hate is exhausting. I decided to have an understanding that they are acting and saying things based on what they know. It is essential to acknowledge that what we know is limited and only based on our own experience. Hence, we should not force that upon others against their will. Would you expect a 7-year-old kid to understand about careers, parenthood? Well, it's pretty much the same concept. We talked about how it takes to the tango to acknowledge your choice and flip the coin to understand the other side of the coin. Well, now imagine both sides of the coins are only relatively true, but the coin itself is the whole truth. With this information, you may tango differently. What I mean by that is this. On each side of the coin, they have their side of view, their side of experience, right? But the fact the coin is coin, that does not change. When I work with the clients who have a limited experience and knowledge in the fashion industry or product development process, I have to consider how I communicate with them with the understanding that they only know what they know. Often I educate them through the process, the industry culture, and the structure that were established before me, regardless of my opinions. Of course, I have encountered people with whom I have misalignments and disagreements. their behavior, communication, lack of competency, limited perspectives, and etc. But when I have conflicts and misalignments with the people, I remind myself that they speak and act based on only what they know and feel. I mean, I am no exception, you know? Even on stressful or hectic days at work, the society taught us to collectively to look at certain situations as too stressful or hectic. Have you thought we are stressed because of how we perceive the situation? And actually, do these circumstances have anything to do with the stress? So when you feel anxious, stressed, and overwhelmed, I suggest examining whether this is based on what you know to react or the whole truth. The power of a perspective changes everything. Even our emotional outbursts can come from only what we know. I think that's why there is a saying, hurt people hurt people. I mean, that's what they know. We here stop the generational curse, whether abuse or addiction, whatever it is. So we cannot solely rely on what we know is the whole truth without examining them, you know? When I communicate with my daughter, who is 14 years old, I put effort into expressing that what I am sharing with her, whether suggestions, perspectives, or experiences, are my own. Doesn't make it true for her or anyone. However, if you agree, it's true for you as much as for me. Whether you have a conflict with your family members, friends, coworkers, give it a try. They know only what they know. And approach the matters with this mindset and see where it takes you. Also try it with awareness that you know only what you know in situations that stress you. You will only have a mindset of understanding others or situations with broad perspectives after practicing consistently. It will also humble you to welcome more experience and knowledge and perspectives, and you may gain more peace. There is nothing wrong with being active in questioning your truth, you know? Thank you for tuning in. This is your host, Terry Mara.